This is Drake is crashing out on his partners.
We got a whole fiasco that started with Drake, but it brings in Aiden Ross as well as Trainwrecks as well as Steak. So this started with Drake typing in Trainwreck's chat and saying the following, and this is on Kick. And he says, "F this goof." And then he has an emoji of Eddie Craven, one of the youngest billionaires ever, Australian guy who founded Steak and who founded Kick. W's for my brother Train tonight. Only W's. If Steak is the Warriors, I am Steph Curry. We win chips for the last how many years? The owners get rich AF and they make us run suicides after practice still. Eat granola bars for meals and take the Greyhound bus to games. Effing goofinos. Yo, the way that this guy this guy's hilarious, man. He says effing Bijan is, I think he's the co-founder of Steak, is on a boat with DiCaprio tripping on Ket. I think that's ketamine. Wearing on running shoes. That's actually hilarious. And the worst shades known to man. You are the Jordan. I am Steph. He's talking to Trainwrecks. Trainwrecks, man, he put blood, sweat, and tears into Steak, which I'll get into the details a little bit later. The point is, Bijan is getting a piggyback from Toby Maguire right now in Ibiza. Max, these goofinos tonight, F them. I think he means Max, like a Max win. And Eddie and Bijan want smoke with me, and I'm about it. And I thought, like, because the way that he's typing, you're kind of like, yo, this guy trolling? Is this funny? Because Drake, he would type like this if he's just joking around. But according to Trainwrecks, he was not joking around, and Trainwrecks has been upset. Max them and have a great stream. Spit in the face. We built this ish. Good old upset with Steak as well. And he continues and says, the good old memory misplaced. F them. They want smoke with OVO. So it's up. Max them and have a great stream. Spit in the face. We built this ish, and they treat us like ish still. I was never allowed to push affiliate. So a little bit of a side point. Affiliate is when people have a sign. You guys know what affiliate is, but affiliate is when people have a sign up code for Steak. So let's say I'm watching Drake and Drake has an affiliate code and I go through the affiliate code. Drake would get a percentage, and I think it's on a gradient or like a scale. So the more that I lose, the higher the percentage of my losses Drake gets. So that's devious because everybody loses in gambling. You all lose. Nobody wins. So that's a ton of money. And he's saying that he wasn't allowed to push affiliate, which means that they held him back from making a lot of money. And then he puts...
One thing about me, I tried to gamble before. I would never do that again. Unless I get to a point where I have a lot to gamble. But as of right now, like with having nothing, it is not a good idea to gamble. And it's like, it's a risk.
The emojis 3 times. He says Snake. Eddie been dissing the Owls. F Eddie. F this goof. W's for my brother Train tonight. And then Trainwrecks finally speaks. So a little bit of side point on Trainwrecks. I believe Trainwrecks is a co-founder of Kick. He was talking about a separate streaming platform for a very long time that wasn't the same as Twitch. He had been not the face, but he had taken a lot of shots from Twitch. The majority of the Twitch community had some level of animosity towards him. They felt like he was really, really toxic. He had gotten banned. He was iffy about his position, and then he started doing the gambling stuff, and then Twitch was threatening to ban gambling, which was his main form of income as well. He was like growing his wealth at that point. And he started Kick with these guys, and they funded Kick, and then he became Steak's #1 streamer. He was like the #1 gambling streamer, I'm pretty sure, on Twitch. But this guy, so that's a little bit on him, and he's also filthy rich, and he also donated a ton of money to Mr. Beasting. I think he donated over $1 million to him, to Team Water, so shout out to him for that. But he goes in and he's had a relationship with these guys for at least 5 years, and now he speaks. So I'm gonna play you guys that clip right now because there's a lot to unpack here.
Drake, what's going on, bro? What happened? Yeah, the good old memory misplaced. That's correct. Believe me, however you feel, I feel too. You have to understand, bro, I put in everything. I put in my life, my health, my safety, right? Like I put in everything, right? Before I touch them, like it's not like they came live as a casino and then coincidentally at the same time I joined, so they don't know where to put the successful credit to. We're talking, they've been around for 5 years before me. and they were nowhere, like relative to like real success. And then I joined, and instantly they became number one, right? You have to understand, like when Twitch banned it, Drake, like in 2022, like I was cooked, bro. I was in debt. I had zero. Like they had. Oh man, you have no idea, bro. I guess that's the cost of just authenticity and transparency. But I should have definitely had contracts in place, because let's just say people didn't. Let's say people like, so the issue I have now, it isn't the fact that I'm not being taken care of properly for all that I did for them. It's that they genuinely, I don't know if they've convinced themselves of this, but they genuinely live in a reality where they truly believe, like, their reality is different from the actual facts of what went down. That's what I'm saying, right? The memory, right? Their memory, their memory from then has shifted to now. It's changed. Things that, you know what I'm saying? And we've been able to come to terms on certain things, but yeah, the memory misplace is definitely there. I still can't figure out if it's a strategic move that's used. Because if they were to fully like admit everything I did, they would also be fully giving me all the leverage, which would make me ask for a lot more. So I don't know if it's a strategic misplace or if it's a genuine one. It seems like a genuine delusional one. That's what it seems like to me. But then you're left in an awkward place, right? You're left in an awkward place because the only way you could have proved anything was if you recorded. But if you record, that completely destroys the trust, and you don't get anything anyways. So you're just in a situation. So I think this experience really taught me, unfortunately, because this isn't how I operate as like as an individual. I don't like I hate contracts myself. But this experience has taught me contracts are necessary, because when you start dealing with loads of money, certain facts in some people's minds get altered. But it is what it is. This only really applies to people who don't push affiliates. If you push affiliates, your leverage is there forever. If I would have pushed affiliates from day one, I'd be moving so much weight. I wouldn't be surprised if I would decline by.
And you're probably thinking like, yo, what does he mean by pushing so much weight? Because Train is already worth hundreds of millions, at least 100 million, if not 150, maybe 200. And he says he streams with raw balance, which means like they're not filling him up. Pause on that. And I do believe this guy. I've followed this guy for at least 8+ years now, and he's not a guy to just like outright lie about things. He's got a level of integrity. Now some people say, well, he promotes gambling. What level of integrity? Well, I'm talking about like he wouldn't lie. That's what I'm saying. But if you're talking about like, yo, what does he mean by pushing weight? Well, that's where this clip comes in. And he says how much he believes that he would have been projected to make if he was pushing affiliate.
I mean, like I said, brother, it was already projected what I'd bring in. I mean, like it was projected what I'd bring in. If I pushed the code from day one till now, I'd be bringing in an extra, okay? It wouldn't be or, it'd be and. I'd bring in what I bring in now, plus an additional 50 mil a month. Do you understand? That's the kind of leverage that I gave up. So now that projection obviously is going to be declined by Stake, even though it was a Stake employee that projected it. But obviously that's denied on a public level, right? So that projections account. Now imagine every month I brought in 50 mil of affiliate revenue. What do you think Stake could say to me? They couldn't say anything to me. So you have to understand, like, in being transparent and authentic, you lose a big chunk of leverage.
Yeah, that's insane, right? Because when he was pushing the when he was gambling, he always has that thing on the top right. So it's like, oh, do not gamble, whatever. So imagine instead of saying that, now I don't think that absolves him, because it's almost like somebody telling you, oh, don't smoke cigs, and the person is just chiefing cigs next to you and making it look exciting and cool and great, but they're telling you with words, don't do this. That's the equivalent of that sign on the top right that he has on his stream. But if he was, imagine how much he would be converting if he was pushing codes. He's like, yo, you guys got to hop in. You guys got to get on this. But I understand his frustration, because just to give you guys some reference, I like Trainwreck's streams, and I thought he was an entertaining guy before the gambling, because I have no interest in gambling. I do not find gambling entertaining. I have watched people play blackjack. I think that's a little bit entertaining for me, but I've never gambled, and like the slots is just, it's mind numbing. It's absolutely, I don't know how poker works. I don't know the rules of it or anything like that. So there's that. So I stopped watching Trainwrecks for the most part because of the gambling streams, and partially because the guy used to have 2 or 3 hour intros. Those intros were actually entertaining. But Trainwrecks, this guy, what he used to do, and I'm telling you, man, if there's anybody that nobody has put in more for that company than this guy, he would do 45-hour straight streams. He moved to Canada for this. He was living in Austin, Texas. That's where his friend group was, everything like that. I think he moved with his girlfriend. This guy moved to Canada because Stake US wasn't a thing at that point. So he moved to Canada to be able to stream unrestricted. That's why a lot of these online people that are doing online gambling, online casino stuff, when they do those sponsored streams, they go to Mexico or somewhere else. So he went to Canada, uprooted his entire life, left the friend groups and like the streamers that he used to hang out with, and would stream 45 hours straight of slots or just gambling. Mind him, man. I think he was like crushing addies. Like, the dude was aging himself. He was destroying his body. He would do that for 45 hours, go to sleep, and then do it again for 45 hours. He would do like 45-hour streams 3 times a week. That's how insane it was. Or like 36-hour streams were regular. You could, man, I don't know if the VODs are still up, but I would look at the VODs because sometimes I would go to sleep. I would just be like, I would just check in on him to see if he was doing anything else, because he used to have this podcast that was really entertaining back in the day, bringing a lot of different people together. And then I would say, okay, he's live. And then I'd go to sleep. I'd wake up. I'd do whatever I had to do for the day. I'm like, oh, wait, he's still live. And he's just spinning slots. And then that's when I thought to myself, let's assume that I had no problem with gambling whatsoever or promoting it. If someone guaranteed me, like, yo, we'll pay you $1 million a month, but you've got to sit in a chair and spin slots for as many hours a day as Trainwrecks was doing it, I genuinely think I'd say no. Because it would be torture. It's like a form of torture, dog. Like staring at a screen, staring at slots just spin, and then you got to take whatever substances you got to take to stay up to consistently do that. I don't even know if my body could do it. So shout out to him. But when he's talking about like growing these guys, he did, because he started it on Twitch and he was going crazy, and I didn't know he was struggling in 2020. I feel like the guy already had a ton of bread. I think he might be gassing it and not overestimating, but I think he might be overdoing how low he was, because I think he had bread, but I think he was just saying like the risk he had and how much he had committed to being a gambling streamer. But the guys he's talking to, the reason why they probably, and the issues that he's having, is he's saying like, yo, these guys basically think that they would have done it anyway. And this is something that draws parallels to music too, where certain people, like for example, Roddy Ricch's early manager, Mo Shalizi, he was also the manager of Moray, and they had like a little bit of a falling out as well, business wise, but he helped Roddy a lot. He got Roddy that Marshmallow feature. He helped Roddy, and then Roddy gets the box and leaves the manager. And a bunch of people, I don't know why they left. I don't know why they separated. I'm not saying like Roddy ditched the guy or anything like that, but they separated. A lot of fans, they say, yo, Roddy would have made it anyway. And this happens whenever an artist may fire a manager or something like that, maybe just to replace him with a more industry manager that has the level of experience to take them to the next level. People will say, fans especially, nah, he would have made it anyway. Okay, sure. I think that's the mentality that these guys have. Like Ed Craven, like you got to think the guy's not, I don't even know if he's 30 years old, and he's built arguably like one of the most successful crypto casinos ever. The guy's worth billions of dollars. Yeah, he was born in 1996. And before that, he was like successful. Keep in mind, his dad went to jail for 6 years for some like securities investment. I don't know if it's fraud or something, but his dad did time, which is interesting. So this guy was pushing, like this guy's been successful since, I don't know, like 2013. He's been like hitting on everything. So I think Ed Craven is like, yo, I got the magic stick, no 50 cent, no pause on that, but he thinks he's got a wand that he's just like flashing. He's like, yo, everything I touch turns to gold. So what do you mean? Like, I need to pay you more. And I think they also look at it like, we don't even need you right now in the way that we needed you before. And I think and the funny thing is, when dealing with people in an industry like gambling that is designed to really just extract everything you can out of an individual, and not just gambling that's held by legal gambling, let's say, in the US, where it's like, yo, people can sign themselves up to quit, and there are all of these other things that the government puts in place. No, like the gambling that these guys were doing, where it's kind of the Wild West, and their aim is to extract as much as they can from every single person and get them addicted. Do the type of people that are enticed by that type of business, do you think they're going to be like, yeah, dude, handshake deal. We're a man of our word and we're going to appreciate you for what you did for us and we're locked in? Hell no. Absolutely not. They're like, yeah, we got what we needed out of you. I don't know. You did all that for us? I don't know about that. Oh, you want this much more money? But we don't need you anymore. Or we don't need you to the degree that we needed you. So why would we give you that much more money? And there you have it. So I think this is an unfortunate lesson for Trainwrecks. I do understand his sentiment in that, like, yo, screw contracts. Like, contracts suck. You'd rather work with people that you have trust with. And he did get screwed, but really nobody's going to feel bad. And that's also another thing with Steak is the masses are not going to feel bad for you. That's already worth a disgusting amount for getting screwed in a deal to push gambling. Even people that are into gambling might not feel that way. So he's in a tough position. Drake, I'm interested to see why Drake's upset, because if Drake wanted to push affiliate codes, it would have been wreckage. But that's what makes me think that Drake has a spending problem or a gambling problem, because Drake pushing affiliate codes is not good for his image. I mean, him pushing Steak as a whole probably, I don't think it hurt him that much. I think it just got normalized to the point where some people are like, yeah, it's not the greatest thing, but they're just cool off of it. But even Aiden Ross spoke on this, because Aiden Ross, he's also done a lot of stuff with Steak, but he's, I think, part owner. Yeah, I believe he's a part owner and does a lot of events on Kick, and he's cool with Eddie. So I'm going to play you guys, and he's cool with Drake. So I'm going to play you guys that clip of Aiden Ross reacting to this.
This shit, and they treat us like shit. I was never allowed to push affiliate. And then I saw Bijan replied. So, okay. At first, everyone's like, yo, bro, are they trolling? Like, what the fuck's going on? So I hit Drake. I hit him. And I was checking up on him like, yo, bro, what the fuck is going on? And I was going to follow up to do another stream, because I obviously wanted another stream. He absolutely got shredded on that last stream. So I was like, what the fuck? And he's like, yo, bro, I'm not doing any more streams unless it's for like brand risk, like you mentioned, like for me or some shit like that. Like, he's like, I'm not doing any more of those streams though. Like, I'm good. So now I'm over here panicking. I'm like, yo, bro, what the fuck is going on here, dude? So yeah, bro, I'm genuinely, what's it called when you got like no words?
The hilarious part is that dude Bijan, as you can see in the beginning of the clip, he actually replied and was wearing the on shoes with it said leave the ons out of this, with the socks on too. Like he had, was that the CP? No, those are the compression socks. Okay, so those aren't on socks as well. But my God, that is hilarious. And yeah, I think Aiden's in a tough place. Maybe they just realize that, yo, Aiden is better to stay locked in with, because he's got a whole new generation of people who are going to get addicted, versus Train, who I believe he had a bit of an older audience, and maybe they think like, yo, we tapped out the well that is Trainwrecks. Now we need to just focus on Aiden Ross. Who knows? I'm really interested to see how this develops. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit notification.
Yeah, gambling is such a huge risk, bro. Such a huge risk.